And we've got Duke and Oklahoma, the Sooners looking for a four-peat and their 8th overall national championship. Deanna Jennings will lead things off, the sophomore from Houston. Marissa Young has been building something special at Duke in recent years, and it was really this sophomore class, the greatest class that they have ever recruited, that was putting the finishing touches on their push towards the World Series. With Jennings and Vega and the starting pitcher today, Cassidy Curd. They've been able to overcome an awful lot this year to get to this point. Jennings rides an 8-game hitting streak into the World Series, and Maxwell will sit her down with her first strikeout.
Maxwell sits her down in 3 pitches. Not afraid to challenge these lefties on the inner half, and part of Kelly Maxwell's ability to bend that ball almost looks like it's going to hit you in the head, comes back through the zone.
And now the matchup with Claire Davidson, senior out of Lakewood Ranch, Florida. And a first-team All-America selection this year. She was one of the finalists, top 10 for National Player of the Year honors. And they are in the hunt for a 2nd ACC championship. Florida State, the only other team from the league with a title in 2018. And they unseated the Noles this year in the ACC in the regular season and the tournament. Davidson, a big reason why. There's a look at the ACC Coach of the Year, a new school record for wins this season. A lot of folks were surprised that they were not a top 8 seed, so they had to go on the road and win a super to get here. Davidson out towards Jada Coleman, 2 down. And Duke fans can take note. As a 10 seed, do you have a chance to win a championship? Yes, you do. It has happened once before. Guess who did it?
Florida State.
No, Oklahoma. Lowest seed to ever win. You're close. There'll be trivia throughout. Keep it up. There's Amina Vega.
We are keeping score, right?
Well, technically, Smitty got it wrong, which means she's eliminated from that round, and then you got it right. So, yes.
They go on to face Holly Rowe for the finals?
Possibly.
Right.
Holly, oh, boy. Holly is full contact trivia now. Story for a whole nother day. Vega ground ball, backhanded at second by Lita Torres. Sanders able to hold on at first, and it's a 1-2-3 start. Sooners pick up. It's a long time ago, got to go back to February, but these folks got together in an Oklahoma win on opening weekend over Duke. And now they meet again at the end of the season. Winner of this one will play UCLA in the winner's bracket on Saturday afternoon. The loser, an elimination game tomorrow night. And here is the senior from the Colony in Texas. Their playmaker, she's reached in 57 of their 60 games this year. And she has scored in each of the last 12 games. The Sooners got a big wake-up call with their Bedlam loss at home to Oklahoma State. And they've been tearing it up since. They look refreshed. Coleman, straightaway center, couple steps back for Jennings, 1 down.
Cassidy Curd in the circle for Duke. That lefty spin again. She's going to hit it at the top of the strike zone. Really good rotation on that. You can see the way that she can move that rise ball at multiple levels, and then she tunnels it very well with the curve ball that she will come across her body. So into righties, away from lefties. mix of speeds, but she does a great job of really controlling the zone. 61% of her pitches into the zone.
Tiari Jennings, first pitch swinging. And a couple of flyouts. 2 down.
Rise ball, Smitty just mentioned, 2 rise balls, 2 outs. Hitters just hit .08 against the rise ball. Cassidy Curd's got that kind of dual spin going up and also away to these lefties.
Yeah, Duke has Curd with more upspin and Jayla Wright with more downspin, so tough staff to be able to prepare for.
Here's Ella Parker, the freshman from Los Angeles. Ella Parker and Cassidy Pickering have worked their way into the starting lineup this year. And how about the 2 freshmen, their top 2 hitters in the postseason in terms of batting average? She and Pickering, 4 home runs and 12 runs batted in their 5 postseason games. Lefty delivers, up and away, 2-1. Check that, 3-0 as you see Parker and Pickering. Takes that one, 3-1. Ella on a 9-game hitting streak. And draws the walk. 2-out base runner for OU.
OU style softball, one of the best in the business, is taking walks this year. In fact, twice as many walks than strikeouts.
The country, it's by like 80. I mean, not even close.
So Kinsey Hansen, back to one of the seniors here in the 4 spot in the order. Just to give you a taste of the difference between these 2 programs, the Oklahoma lineup today has their roster has 124 games experience at the World Series. To Duke's 0, their first time today. Hansen grounds it to short. Jade Baker. Scoreless through 1. Opening's grown and matured and accepted the responsibilities of keeping this program moving forward, keeping them on a trajectory to get here. When Marissa stepped away in the fall, the assistant coaches took on more responsibility. The kids took on more of the responsibility. And then she rejoined the team in January for the spring. And of course, they have the greatest season in school history.
Not a coincidence at all. And it not only perspective, but also how much it bonded this team as a family. It wasn't just Marissa's family and her husband and her kids, but it was every player. And they all talked about it. How much it allowed them to grow up, have the perspective and understanding everything that Marissa was going through, but also for them to be there for her.
She learned from one of the best. Carol Hutchins played for Coach Hutch at Michigan, so she knows what this tournament is about. She has been on this field. In fact, 2 trips as a player at Michigan, looking for her first win here in Oklahoma City. And now as a head coach, bringing the Blue Devils back. 3-1 to Francesca Freelich. Lifts that one down the line, left and gone! Solo home run, her 3rd of the postseason. And Duke grabs the lead over Oklahoma.
Frankie Freelich. I mean, this is a hitter that wasn't even in the lineup, you guys. I mean, she busted her way not only into this lineup, but into the cleanup spot. Why? Because of this. The power that's come in the postseason. Look at where this pitch is located. Down and away. Watch barrel, not just to drive it, but pull it over the wall and left.
On the 12th home run of the year that Maxwell's given up, a 3-1 count. Wow. Love the aggressiveness.
Brother Sal, right fielder for the Milwaukee Brewers. Sure, super proud.
Off inside.
Confidence and belief is a crazy thing, isn't it? She was batting 100 this year against left-handed pitchers.
Yep.
And she just went yard.
But 500 against lefties in the postseason. I mean, she has really changed and developed, especially on her weaknesses.
1-0 Duke here in the top of the second. Opening day at the Women's College World Series. A lot of folks lining this up as Oklahoma against the field. The Sooners, the dynasty with 6 championships in the last 10 years. And 7 other teams trying to derail them. Maya Burgess, the freshman out of Leeds City, Texas, had a hand in a big defensive play for them to win the ACC over Florida State, team that was in the finals here last year. Strike 3, second of the day for Maxwell, 1 down. Got a home run ball delivery to the Freelix. Trying to find the Freelix.
Can we get a Freelix?
One down, here's Anna Gold. Junior out of Ballston Spa, New York, their career home run leader. Fouled one straight back. Set the single season home run record a year ago with 19. The numbers haven't been there this year. Looking to make a mark here at the World Series. One-two pitch from Maxwell. Looks like they've got some changes going on, passing around the... Oh, they're getting some sunglasses out to Riley Boone. Out in right, got some sun breaking through here after a cloudy and rainy morning. 1-2 to Gold, checks it foul.
Riley Boone typically in left field, but they've moved her over to right field just because a lot of balls off the bat of Maxwell tend to go center right. Tends to live on that outer half of the corner. To righties.
In terms of defensive run saves, Boone in right and Coleman in center are both tops at their positions. As Maxwell goes up to the rise, strikeout number 2. Let's go back to that home run.
One of the things Frankie Freelick has done such a great job with, and especially against lefties, is she really has been aggressive at going for low and away, and that's where that pitch was located. Something that was a weakness for her earlier, James Lamar. Everything he's been through, putting Duke on top.
When you look at the location of that pitch as well, as a lefty pitcher, that pitch, when you miss, is moving into the zone, right? So that's where you have to be careful. 3-1 count. Maxwell has given up, that was her 12th home run given up.
221 feet. Exit velo 65 miles an hour. In softball, 70 is considered elite exit velo, right, Jess?
Yep. Yes, and if you get over 80, they say anything hit up towards 80 miles an hour is going to be a base hit, even if it's on the ground or on a line, because you're going to get it past the infield. It's just moving so fast.
Here's the 2-0 pitch from Maxwell. Well, we certainly welcome all of you newcomers to the sport of softball. If you're watching the pitch velocity as well, if you hit 70, that's about a 95-mile-per-hour fastball in baseball.
Because of the pitching distance, 43 feet. Reaction time for hitters.
3-0 pitch. Ball 4. 2-out base runner. Kelly Torres is the bottom of the lineup. Steps in against Maxwell. It'll be Jada Baker, the sophomore shortstop from Longwood, Florida. They won game 3 of their Super Regional with a 4-run 9th inning. Scoreless until then. Ball, and it only takes them one time through the lineup to change that here with the early home run ball for Frankie Freelich at a 1-0 lead. And Jen Rocha out to talk with Kelly Maxwell as Duke makes an adjustment with Baker at the plate.
And I love how aggressive Duke has been. I mean, they've been patient at pitches out of the zone. Anything in a big count, 3-1 count for the home run ball. There's no hesitation. There's no, ooh, first time, first game at the World Series.
You gotta be.
Yeah.
It's a great pitcher like Maxwell. She gets ahead.
Here's the change that Maxwell has made. Last year at Oklahoma State, a lot of rise ball. This year at Oklahoma, much more video work with Jen Rocha, and as you see, much more down in the zone.
And that down in the zone at 33% on the drop ball. She's got one of the lowest batting averages against in the entire country. Just a bit over a buck 27 off that drop ball. And it's part of the reason why they're starting to use that and call that pitch for her a lot more.
A 20-win season for Kelly. Her 5th year playing, 78 career wins. Those first 4 years at Oklahoma State. Her former teammates in action tonight against Florida. Both of those coaches, Tim Walton and Kenny Gajewski, pretty much had to revamp their lineups from a year ago. Defensively, a lot of people playing different positions. New aces in the circle. Fabulous job by those two guys who I'm sure you'll see all the pictures of them from the good old days. They were national champions playing baseball together at Oklahoma, and then Kenny used to work for Tim at Florida. One of the little subplots of our night session. If you've been with us for a while here at the Women's College World Series, it was on this date 5 years ago, folks. The Samantha Schau backflip of the ages. Oklahoma State beats Florida.
Began the trend.
Yes.
Yeah. Hadn't really been done a whole lot before in the sport.
Oklahoma State here looking for its first national championship. Florida's got 2 and a couple of walks after 2 strikeouts, 2 free passes.
Well, and the 7 and 8 hitters in the lineup. This is the part of the lineup you want to just go right at them.
This is where Kelly Maxwell, even though they won both their games in Supers last weekend, she struggled with the free passes.
Yeah.
49th and 50th walk of the year for Maxwell.
6 walks in 5 innings against Florida State in their start last weekend.
Well, the last 2 years she's been a little bit like nibbling around the zone. And so patient hitters, if you're really watching that rotation, you're not chasing out of the zone. She's going to give you a pitch to hit, or she's going to work around you. She has all that movement. Sometimes when she has struggled, those walk numbers have risen up, which makes her pitch count rise up.
0-1 to the 9-hitter, Giselle Tapia.
She's talked a lot about, just having trouble gripping the ball. She sweats a bunch. You can see her face red.
Let's check in with Holly.
Well, guys, I have noticed Kelly Maxwell kind of fussing with that hand, wiping sweat off her forearm. She notably doesn't like to pitch when her hand is sweaty like that. I'm just going to tell you, it was raining a little bit earlier before the game. There were raindrops. Now the sun has come out, and it is sweltering down here. You can see her laboring a little bit, those 2 walks. So just keep your eye on that. That's an issue. She doesn't love rosin, and so it's a challenge with some pitchers don't love rosin on their hand when they're sweating.
Yeah, 80% now, the humidity after the storm blew through. And I know, Smitty, you've got all kinds of ways that pitchers try and fight keeping that perspiration off the hand.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Learning to use and being comfortable with rosin. A long sleeve. She's got a 3/4 on. At times, that's helpful. You think, well, the sleeve is hot, but it actually helps you absorb some of the perspiration. And then, sometimes you just got to keep your hand up. I used to keep it up, shake it a little bit, and people are like, are you signing? What are you doing? I'm like, no, I am trying to keep the sweat out of the palm of my hand.
2-2 with 2 on and 2 outs here in the second. Tapia lifts that out to Boone, fighting that sun, and she's got it. Couple left on, but Frankie Freeman goes downtown. 90% of the national champions over the last 4 decades won their opening game. And if you lose on Thursday, you only have a 6% chance of winning it. Alyssa Brito to lead off. Winner will play UCLA on Saturday. Loser will play Alabama tomorrow night.
Well, back to the statistic you were talking about, Beth. I mean, back in the day, you used to have to play a doubleheader in order to win on Saturday and write a doubleheader on Sunday to make it to the Champ Series. It's a little bit different schedule now.
Oh, I love it. She only have to play 1 game in a day.
Yeah, the coaches have really fought hard for that. They wanted an off day before the championship series, which happens now unless there's all kinds of delays and the schedule gets backed up due to bad weather. And then the championship series starts on Wednesday, best 2 out of 3. We have 4 former national champions here and 4 teams looking for their first. And Oklahoma is looking for a 4-peat. Brito, base knock right back up the middle. Lead off aboard and the tying run there for OU to start the second.
Brito's been so hot. Swinging her best bat actually this time of year. This is a pitch up in the zone. Bird's going to give it to you. And she swung and missed on this pitch. Actually, the first pitch of the at-bat, she adjusts. Goes flatter swing, meets it right up the middle.
Going to bring up Alina Torres. Senior out of Glendale, Arizona. Transferred from Arizona State. She has a Pac-12 championship ring and a Big 12 championship ring. Sooners, after losing to Texas in the regular season this year, came back to beat the Longhorns in the Big 12 tournament championship on this field a couple weeks ago. Torres, shallow center, coming on to make the basket catch in the bobble is Deanna Jennings. 1 down.
And Jennings had a long way to go to make that catch. You could almost see that Jess, she was looking like potentially thinking double play. Lucky that that ball gets back down into her glove.
I'd say most outfielders, though, they have to die for this. I mean, Jennings so quick on the ring, does a great job, but you're right, her head nice come up. You know, she's trying to, it's too easy. Flip it up. See, Brito bites.
Cassidy Pickering. Well, she was trying the Bo Jackson make the catch and then fire out to first base to get the double play on that one.
That's exactly what she was thinking.
Bo Jackson was a really good two-sport star
Right.
a couple decades ago. Here's Cassidy Pickering.
Bo knows.
Foul back on a play. Cassidy Pickering is 2 RBIs away. He actually has 48 runs batted in. If she can get to 50, she and Ella Parker would be the first freshman pair at OU with 10 home runs and 50 runs batted in.
Amazing. Stepping into this lineup. And a team that's so senior laden, with 10 seniors on it, tons of experience.
Can she get 2 right here with Brito aboard? 10 home runs on the year. She's got 3 of them in the postseason. She and Parker both have 1,200 OPS on the year.
Well, it's really incredible, too. As a team, Oklahoma's on-base percentage is .473.
That's almost half the time, I think.
Yeah,
That's good math.
good job. I'm proud of you.
There's Patty Gasso. 30th year now at Oklahoma. Laced by Pickering to the gap on right center. Jennings able to cut it off. And they will have to hold Brito at third. Again, the speed of Jennings saved a run there. As usually Brito would score on that, but the Sooners at first and third with 1 out.
That's exactly right. When you see Oklahoma not score on a ball in the gap like this one, and we've talked a lot about this freshman class and Pickering, this is a 2-strike swing. I mean, this is what I like. 75%, she's not taking a big swing on a pitch that she can find. Jennings, every other outfielder, that ball hits the wall, they score. She cuts this one off, gets it in. A long single for the freshman.
Holly Rowe. We're working on our microphone. We'll get back to that in just a second. In the meantime, we'll remind you of Game 5 of the NHL Eastern Conference Finals. That's coming up tonight on ESPN. They've had 3 straight overtime games. The Rangers will be hosting the Panthers all even at 2 apiece. Coverage begins with The Point on ESPN2 at 6. Still to come here at the Women's College World Series. Scheduled start at 7 Eastern on ESPN2, Texas and Stanford. Get your popcorn ready for that one, or kettle corn. And then Oklahoma State and Florida are nightcap tonight. So here we go, runners on the corners. And Duke will allow Pickering to take second, making sure Brito stays at third. So a couple of RBI chances here for Riley Boone. Boone flares one to the left side, and that will fall foul.
Boone fortunate that the defense for Duke well in. Otherwise, the middles are back. That's probably a ball they can run down.
Senior from Owasso, Oklahoma. She just has gotten better and better every year. Coming in, riding a 6-game hitting streak. Batting over 500 in her World Series career. Hot shot to short. Baker has Brito now in a pickle. The tag is missed. No, they got it. They say the tag got her. Patty Gasso thought they missed. To record the out. Patty just looked over to the dugout. to see if anybody on her staff had seen it or whether or not Brita was out of the running lane.
Well, and by making that secondary throw back down to home, it also allows Boone to go up to second. So you can see clearly tagged, but now because of the way they play that after the tag, so you can see her shirt move, it allows Boone to run and get into scoring position as well.
Were they able to see or hear the umpire there?
Well, that, and if you know with replay review now, if you know you tag her, boom, she gets her right there. There's no reason, even if they did call her safe and no tag, you know that you tagged her. So they will find that out. No reason to make that throw home.
So here is Sydney Sanders in the 9 spot in the lineup. Oklahoma threatening here with 2 down. Couple of base hits. Well played by Jada Baker at short to get the out. On the way home. Sanders is one of those 3 outcome hitters. She'll strike out, she'll walk, or she'll take you out of the park. 2-2. Almost twice as many freebies as hits. Chance for Oklahoma here to tie it or take the lead. Curd rocks, delivers, full count.
And this is a big pitch right here. Walk Sanders. Got Coleman coming up with the bases loaded.
Sid is 1 for 10 so far in the postseason. Has not hit the rise ball well. 3-2 from Curd. Goes upstairs and the pop out to end the inning.
I got to play against her and she could compete. She was fierce, man. She had the shades on even when she pitched.
Oh,
I
yeah.
never saw that. I was like, I can't even see her eyes. I don't know what she's...
They've got the 1-0 lead over Oklahoma as we move to the 3rd. Top of the order with Deanna Jennings. Deanna, something flew off her armband there.
Secret card.
Duke seems pretty poised. I mean, you both played on this stage. What's the first thing you got to take care of on opening day with all, as Holly reported, all those butterflies flying around?
I think just, being prepared and not letting the moment get too big and, playing fundamental softball. It's easy to allow things to spin out of control.
I just wanted to get on base. Just get to first base. I don't care how. It seems so daunting. First base, I think the first time you've ever been here looks like it's 300 feet away. It looks so far. And I know the dimensions are the same and everyone says that. And can I say BS because I'm saying it? I call that because it doesn't feel like that. It feels bigger. And once you get to first base, then it comes all back to normal.
Yeah, it's the same thing with pitchers, is being able to make sure that you're throwing strikes when you need to throw strikes, as Kelly Maxwell's doing. 4th strikeout of the day for Maxwell using that curveball.
2 looking, 2 swinging.
Left on left too. I mean, this is such a tough pitch. You see it in the strike zone, but as a hitter, it's going away from your barrel, and you know it. So everything about you says, nope.
And that's actually got drop spin on it, but it's still curving across the zone. So this is where she blends all those pitches together.
Number 7, Claire Davidson.
A little bit more down this year than that up that she had last year when she was at Oklahoma State.
Claire Davidson flew out to center her first time up. Right side, Torres, 2 down. Yeah, Kelly was telling us about just being present, locked into the moment on this stage. This is her 8th appearance here at the World Series with a 2-4 record and an ERA just shy of 3. Vega, first pitch swinging. Out to Pickering and left in a 1-2-3 inning. Very efficient. And the Sooners come back around with the top of the order. Just the 6th time in 60 games. 1 run through the order did not produce a run. Hey! So a tip of the cap to Cassidy Curd for keeping the bats quiet. A couple of hits, a walk the first time through. So here comes Coleman, Jennings, and Parker. Coleman, base knock. Tying run aboard just like that.
Just sounds different off of Coleman's bat. This is a base hit up the middle. This is perfect swing on a pitch up. I love the adjustment. By the way, at bat 1 to at bat 2, you see her just stay on top of this. You can hear how loud it is off her bat. Yeah. Let alone how loud she is when she gets to first.
Boy, if you look back at the last 40 years of this Women's College World Series,
Just started doing that. It's not easy to do.
taking it to the next level against Tiara Jennings, the 4-time first-team All-American.
Got it. Saw that changeup, and you have to hide it.
That left hand out is just part of a pitching motion, and she's picked up. Jennings back our way towards the press box. In her World Series career, her 20th game here at Oklahoma City, 29 RBIs, the most ever. Solid. Member of the 300 hit club, not just a power hitter for OU. Pulls it foul.
Coleman was running in that last one. Always know that she's got a chance to steal at any point. Speed.
Sliding off that plate a little bit. Making those adjustments.
1-2 pitch in the dirt. Good block by Torres, so Coleman stays put.
That is clutch right there. And that is a must when you've got a drop ball down spin pitcher with an off speed that has bite. Keep that in front.
Oh, there's some familiar faces, including Jocelyn Allen looking out. Jennings, a swing and a miss. And a big strikeout for Wright. 1 down. Her first. So we got the glove ready, we got the ball ready. So Smitty, 2 different ways to throw the changeup.
Yeah, and so at times she will get picked because her finger, she shows a knuckle, and so hitters can see that, coaches can see that. So learning to throw that changeup deep in the palm of the hand, or almost doing like a double grip, so that it can't be picked off of the grip. Huge adjustment for Wright to be able to make.
At the plate now, Ella Parker. How about from the hitter's perspective, too?
Well, because the biggest thing is you see that knuckle. So you see it pop out. And so at any point, you're going to see it come out of the glove knuckle. And as a hitter, you're looking for it. So she eliminates the knuckle, throws it the same way. So she's not changing a whole lot except for that. But it's not easy because now it's going to be about 5 miles an hour different. More of an off speed versus the changeup.
Well, and still to get that movement, right? So you want that bite on it. You want to fool it, you want to sell it to the hitter, but also that late sharp break downward, because that's also going to induce that whiff rate that we talked about on that changeup. A nation leading 60%.
She throws it 30% of the time.
Ball always improving, always adapting
There's the pitch. I mean, you're getting Tiare Jennings to swing and miss. You know it's an effective pitch. And she throws it so often. It's definitely one that she relies on.
First strikeout for Duke pitchers today. 2-1 to Parker. Inside the bag at first.
Coleman running again on that. How about Parker, right? The freshman protecting Coleman and Jennings. I mean, oh man.
She is one of their 4 400 hitters, and also one of their 6 players in the lineup that has double-digit home runs this year.
Her Uncle Dave is the manager for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Well, she was telling us that she wears number 5 for Corey Seager, and then she started to tear up.
No, she didn't want to leave. No longer with the Dodgers. Imagine the access. I mean, the ability to pick brains.
Yeah.
First of all, this team alone. Talking to Tiare and Jada Coleman. What does Mookie Betts have on them?
Another swing and a miss. Coleman trying for second.
No tag.
Slides in safe. There was no tag after she initially missed the base and then was able to clamp down on it. So a runner in scoring position here, but another strikeout for Wright.
And again, down in the zone. This is a heavy pitch. It's got that downward rotation, trying for the strike him out, throw him out. Some Torres just a little bit late, and if that throws a little bit more offline, you get Coleman. But how about that slide?
Yes.
That is experience. That's slowing the play down and knowing she's got to go to the back of the bag. Pretty incredible.
Tying run at second, 2 outs for Kinsey Hansen. Hansen drives one deep. Kinsey Hansen, 2-run home run. And Oklahoma jumps in front. As she jumps all over the changeup.
How about first pitch? You talk about having a plan, going up, and we talked about Jayla Wright knowing, having an idea of what she's going to throw. Kinsey Hansen, she sells out first pitch changeup, and you can see this is a pitch left right over the middle of the plate, but Hansen is right on time. I mean, no doubt about it. As soon as she made contact, it was leaving.
10th home run of the year for Hansen. How about an exit velocity of 71 miles an hour off the bat?
She piped it.
Well, she was probably sitting it. A couple of strikeouts in front of her. You know you got to go up looking for it.
Well, she hits almost 500 too against the changeup. You don't see that, by the way. Usually you're going through, everyone hits about $150, $180. Changeups are not something you hit close to 500, let alone out of the park, and the power that Hansen has against the pitch.
6th career World Series home run. That ties Lauren Chamberlain. And a 2-1 Oklahoma lead and a home run ball for the family. One of the best catchers in the game that has been so clutch for them in their postseason the last 4 years. As Brito fouls one off. So with that home run now, that makes it 7 hitters in their lineup with at least 10 home runs. Nowhere to hide.
111th home run of the year for the Sooner team.
And remember, Kinsey Hansen has been actually batting about 6th, 7th in the lineup. And Patty Gasso, I've never seen him maneuver the lineup more than she's done this year. But first time we've seen Hansen in the cleanup spot in over a month.
And her son, JT, one of her assistant coaches who works with the hitters. Remember this time last year, Patty had both of her sons here. Her other son, DJ, an assistant last year with Utah. There's JT. All in the family. 3-1 to Brito.
Yeah, that was all shin guard.
Brito, foul!
No foul ball. Rocket down the line.
And we asked Kelly Maxwell and Nicole May, two of the top pitchers for Oklahoma, all right, who's toughest to face when you guys are interscouting, which is a question in itself, because we talked about this lineup. Both of them said Alyssa Brito, because she can hit anything at any given point. She's so competitive, so tough. That is the compliment of compliments when you're number one in this lineup to your pitching staff.
That exit velo was 76 miles an hour off her bat, and that draws the walk. A two-out rally here for the Sooners. The Kinsey Hansen two-run shot. After falling behind Duke earlier, here's Alina Torres, a fly out to center.
Time.
For a strike from Jayla at 67 miles per hour. Did not give up an earned run in the regionals. Struggled a bit in the supers. Curd picked up the slack. But now the two are trying to tag team a win here today.
And both Curd and Wright have done a pretty good job of keeping the ball in the park. That was just the 8th home run of the year that Jayla Wright had given up.
Here's a look at Devon Park, site of our quadruple header today. Double elimination getting underway this afternoon. Torres lifts one deep left field. That one has a chance, and it's gone! Second two-run home run of the inning. A four-run third for Oklahoma.
Well, the swing path of Torres likes balls down in the zone. This is a beautiful job going down on a drop ball. You see the path, right? Getting below a drop is not something easy to do, but her swing path is built to go low to high and right into that cookie zone for Alina Torres. 2 more runs for the Sooners.
Boy, that is big for her. She was just 1 for 10 in the postseason prior to that. And Marissa Young is out to talk with Jayla Wright, try and settle her down. They continue slamming that ball off, 4 runs off of home runs.
And remember, all off of Jayla Wright. Cassidy Curd started this inning. She had gone through the first 2 innings without allowing a run. They make that pitching change to put in Jayla Wright. Cassidy Curd can still come back into this game.
Look at the Torreses already. They have a sign so you can find them easily with that home run ball. Hey, don't forget the Women's College World Series Championship Series will get underway next Wednesday. For more information, go to ncaa.com. Your home for all 90 NCAA championships. This will be our 19th championship series dating back to 2005. Hey! We've never had the same 2 teams meet in the finals in back-to-back seasons. That won't happen again this year. We got a stacked field with 4 teams with at least 50 wins, including these 2 here.
Ball.
And it's not an easy road for the top seed. They've reached the championship series 11 times. They've won the championship 8 of 19 years. There's a 2-1 to Pickering. Hammered in there for a strike. Cassidy singled in the second.
With that good velocity, going up near 70 miles an hour at that fastball, drop ball hard down in the zone, off-speed drop, changeup.
This is the 17th time this year the Sooners have hit multiple home runs in the same inning, with Hansen and Torres both 2-run shots off of Jayla Wright. Pickering reached for it. Baker gets the 3rd out, but Oklahoma takes the lead.
Talked a lot about the seniors for this Oklahoma Sooners team. Kenzie Hansen, she's jumping first pitch changeup to get the first 2-run home run of the inning.
And how about Torres, a 2-run shot for herself, her 9th of the year. How about the Sooners, 2 home runs in the inning, 112 on the year.
The first here in the next 10 days. Winner of this one has UCLA on Saturday afternoon. If that is Oklahoma, wouldn't that be ironic? Because UCLA is the last team to beat Oklahoma in the NCAA tournament. Sooners have won 18 in a row. That's an NCAA record. Last falling to UCLA in the 2022 World Series. Another accolade for this senior class. Ball.
The reason Duke has that 1 run, it's the batter that's up right now, Francesca Freelick. Solo shot back in the second.
4, 5, and 6 to face Kelly Maxwell. Freelick draws the leadoff walk.
3rd walk of the game given up by Maxwell.
Of course, even though Kelly is a newcomer here, she fits the mold, Smitty, of Patty's favorite thing in the world, and that's a left-handed pitcher. The Southpaw Sooners that she's been winning national championships with now for the last 20 years.
So many hitters that are left-handed. Even if you're right-handed, you switch around to the left side of the box because the advantage, speed, ball, and being right-eye dominant. You see the ball better. It's that right eye, that front eye.
Hansen out to talk with Maxwell as Amaya Burgess steps in. 325 on the season.
So you have to throw a strike in this inning.
You're right, Smitty. I mean, the biggest thing that I notice, even from a hitter standpoint, is she is trying to be perfect. She wants all her pitches to be just in that shadow zone, so just outside. It's not like a lot of them are non-competitive. She's trying to get the chase, but Duke is not biting.
Amaya Burgess just over to talk. The chess match going on. There's Jen Rocha, the pitching coach for Oklahoma. The 3rd base coach for Duke, Taylor Wyke, handles their hitters.
Sometimes that's what you have to do is all those cards fly out. The Burgess is
how many different options?
There were
That's a lot of cards.
There's a lot of cards. swing and miss.
I was like, did she explode like a pillow? Because it was like feathers looked like shooting all over.
I was like, oh no, Randy Johnson rebounds.
I got another down. But back to your point about sometimes trying to be too perfect as a pitcher, you have to at times trust your stuff. You have to, at times when you're working on your control, take a little off, trust that movement through the zone, and try to get the swing and miss. Because if you're working the edges, you're not getting calls, or you're not painting them, you're working backwards.
Chop to second, good charge. Torres the spin to get the lead runner after it looked like her only play was at first. She defied the odds.
You do not see second baseman make this play ever. You come in, look at her have to spin around and make a dot of a throw over to second base. Her play is only to first, except for the fact that she has that ability. Most second basemen cannot do that. This is a beautiful play that is very uncharacteristic.
Boy, Freelich had to change her course to get to second base. Otherwise, she would have been safe.
Yeah. She went a long way out of the baseline, and those 2 or 3 steps may have hurt her at the back end of that play.
On a goal. Skies this one. Boone coming in. And let's send it down to Holly Road.
Well, Beth, you talked about Oklahoma pitcher Kelly Maxwell really reinventing herself at times this year. She's had to work hard in her career to even be in the circle. She started her freshman season at Oklahoma State, and she redshirted. That year was such a struggle. She kept changing mechanics because she wasn't good enough. They wanted something different this week, that week. She said, I really thought I was going to have to quit pitching. I wasn't going to be good enough. And they actually told her she may never be good enough to pitch at this level. And here she is now pitching in a World Series. She's been here before with Oklahoma State. Now she is back with Oklahoma after getting into the transfer portal this year. And this is a young woman who could have given up easily when things weren't going her way, but her resilience kept her fighting to be good enough to pitch in the circle.
She's been one of the best pitchers in the nation the last couple years, and she worked very hard on her mechanics, worked very hard on her control, getting those spins down early in her career. I remember seeing her up in Stillwater, working with her at times, and being able to communicate different ways as left-handed pitchers that we can fool hitters.
That's a hit batter, Torres.
But one part of her game has been effectively wild around the zone. She gets a lot of swing and miss. But when she is dialed in, she really does work the edges better, and she doesn't have the number of free passes that she has had the last couple years.
Of course, last year it was Jordy Ball, and she transferred out to Nebraska. A lot of folks wondering if Oklahoma was going to be vulnerable this year. Their most losses in 5 years. They lost the Big 12. They lost to Texas. They lost to Oklahoma State. And a lot of folks were pointing at the pitching staff because the ERA this year has been a lot higher than last year. And so Kelly and Nicole May and the rest of the pitching staff, a little chip on that shoulder, wanting to prove they're not a weak link in a quest for a four-peat.
Well, Patty told them, she challenged them. She said, you have to be better. We cannot give up the free passes. You can give up the solo shot. You can't walk a batter, hit a batter, and then give up a home run. Yeah. Now you're giving up a 3-run shot.
That has been, if you're going to circle the difference, them going for the four-peat. The last 3 years, they've had a dominant ace that has a lot more Ks, a lot more swing and miss, and honestly, a lot more intimidation. But Maxwell's had 10 walks in her last 8 innings pitched. And that's something, if you're a team that feels any kind of intimidation, you're saying thank you. How important it is to get to that first base.
All right, so Duke looking to make some noise. They've got the tying run at the plate here. Jada Baker. Their first trip to the World Series. They run right into the Oklahoma dynasty and now looking to pull off the upset in their debut here in Oklahoma City. In just the 7th year of the program, the first ever black head coach to bring a team to the World Series in Marissa Young, who started here as a player at Michigan. And what a job that Nina King has done, the athletic director of Duke. Oh, A peek at Kara Lawson right next to her, the basketball coach, too. There she is. Look at that. Good support. They heard from Mike Krzyzewski before they headed off to the NCAA tournament. All hands on deck for the Dukies.
I love that. Love when the whole athletic department is showing up and supporting their teams.
Especially when they're making history.
Yes.
The Duke's never done before.
And now the bases are loaded. And the go-ahead run will come to the plate here in the top of the fourth. Number 9 hitter, Giselle Tapia.
Fourth walk of the game given up by Kelly Maxwell, second of the inning, along with a hit by pitch. So 3 free passes in this inning.
And all at the bottom, Smitty.
Yeah.
2 walks at the bottom of the order in the second inning. Florida, scheduled to start around 7 Eastern, depending on how this thing plays out. Kirsten Deal is the new pitcher with the bases loaded and 2 outs for Oklahoma. And it's the number 9 hitter, Giselle Tapia, the go-ahead run at the plate.
This is all about rolling a ground ball, getting it out of the inning.
Tapia, even though she's 290 on the season, she's .727 batting average with the bases loaded. She's got 1 grand slam. She has been key in these moments.
This is a roll. A walk, a fielder's choice, a hit batter, and another walk to load the bases here for Duke. Trying to respond to Oklahoma's 4-run third inning. Tapia out into shallow left side, diving grab for Jada Coleman with another wet gem for Oklahoma.
This not only saves 1 run, you guys, this saves 2 runs. And when we talk Jada Coleman and her defense, we talk so much about the home runs that she robs, but the fact that she gets this jump, understands when, how to lay out, makes the catch for her sophomore pitcher who just got into this, saving runs and breaking hearts. That's Jada Coleman, folks.
Reached on a fielder's choice. Dropping down the butt and legging it out. Gold chose to short hop that instead of seeing potentially if that was going to bounce sideways into foul territory.
It might have had some spin, that's for sure.
This is all about butting off of Vega, and this is how smart she is. So look at this. This is all about getting down that line as fast as possible, putting that bunt down, and just knowing foot race with Vega and Boone. She's the party starter. She knows, she sees everything. She has the identification to know that, hey, I'm going to beat this out. I don't really care how quickly they get to the ball. I just know I'm going to beat that second baseman to the bag.
That's her 10th infield single. And a pitch clock violation. I believe called on the pitcher, Jayla Wright. That has happened to her before. It's a 20-second pitch clock this year, or an action clock that both the pitcher and the batter need to adhere to.
Irony is that's why she puts her glove out, is to slow herself down.
Sanders lifts that one deep left, and that one will leave the building. Third home run of the day for Oklahoma, and another 2-run blast. All right-handers hitting it over the left field fence this afternoon.
You You guys, Sid Sanders, to say that this feels good is an understatement. She has been struggling for over a month now, only her second hit of the postseason. Patty Gasso talked about the bottom of this lineup being able to get something going, and she specifically pointed out Sid. A beautiful job here, just going down to get it. And Beth, you said it. She either strike out, walk, or home run. The potential every time she swings the bat to do just this.
14th home run of the year. Just keeps stacking up. 13 home runs now for the team.
And another pitching change. They're going to bring Lily Walker, the senior from Inola, Oklahoma, on here to replace Wright. And a 6-1 Oklahoma lead. Walker's third appearance of the NCAA tournament has only been out there for 2 2/3 innings as Sanders celebrates in the dugout.
Now pitching for jersey number 15, Lily Walker.
Jayla Wright, an inning plus the 4 hits, the 5 earned runs, and 3 home run balls from Hanson, Torres, and Sanders. And so here comes Walker.
How about growing up and coming to games here at this stadium, watching, knowing someday, dream to be on this field.
Six different players with a hit. 6 different players have scored now for Oklahoma. As the score stands right now, Oklahoma headed towards a winner's bracket matchup with UCLA Saturday afternoon. Duke would have an elimination game tomorrow night against Alabama. And then our doubleheader still to come this evening. For Sid Sanders, her first home run since April 16th. And she hits that out of the 9 spot and passes the bat to Coleman.
When your 9 spot has 14 home runs in the season, that's abundance right there.
To keep talking about Patty kind of manipulating the lineup too. How about Boone leading off that inning? Yep. Calls her the coordinator of chaos.
Well, in a strange turn of events with the losses during the regular season for Oklahoma, when we asked Jada Coleman yesterday about that, just a big old smile on her face. We get to hunt this year. We're usually the one that's got the target. And this year, we're not the 1 seed. We're not the favorite in some people's eyes.
But let's be real, they still have the target. I don't think anyone's going up against Oklahoma thinking, oh man, they're the underdogs.
No. But in their mind, yes, there's the Sanders clan getting the ball.
And I think a lot of people too also the environment. You know, it is, you feel like at times when you come in here that this is a home game for the Sooners. There's a little bit of that people feel when they come here to the College World Series. We hear that all the time as well. Like, why is it always in Oklahoma City? This is where USA softball.
Yeah, it's a contractual thing. 3-1, Coleman waits on it. Center field, back to the track, and the catch is made by Jennings for the first out as we send it down to Holly.
You see Sydney Sanders' family get that home run ball. There's a reason that Patty Gasso has left her in the lineup. I was listening to one of her press conferences last weekend, and she said, you know, Sid Sanders is one of the best first basemen we've had. She does such a great job. I don't think she's getting the attention or the credit that she deserves for what she does for our defense. First base is a hard position, and for that reason, she hasn't taken her out of the lineup, even though she's been struggling with her bat. So you see that from Patty Gasso. Even though some of her big hitters have struggled, she knows they're going to come through, and she trusts their defense.
Jennings gets hit by the pitch. And a 1-out base runner.
Go to get out of the way. Yeah, coming into the other path.
Yeah, but getting back to what Holly was talking about, Sanders was an All-American, a 400 hitter with 20 home runs as a freshman at Arizona State, and has really struggled to recapture those kinds of numbers, that kind of swing, but keeps showing up day in and day out, trying to make something positive happen. Has done so today, and here's Parker. Ella walked in the first, struck out in the third. Trying to extend her 9-game hitting streak. Ball. All 9 now have reached safely today. Ball. Down in 3-1.
Well, this is what Oklahoma does so well. 314 walks on the season coming into today's game. Just have such a good eye, understanding of the strike zone.
Lily Walker, that trust in the changeup. 3-0 to throw it there. Throws it 33% of the time, more than any other pitch.
Full count. Ball. Back-to-back freebies. And here comes the home run hitting Kinsey Hansen. 2-run blast sitting on a changeup last time up.
This is what got the Sooners on the board. They're down 1-0 before Kinsey Hansen took this changeup. First pitch.
Put the Sooners up 2-1. Scored 2 more runs that inning. 2-run home run's been the theme so far.
Jennings at second, Parker at first. Timeout called, they'll reset the pitch clock. And now Patty says, hold on, I need a moment. Guessing maybe a runner coming out. Can go for Jennings or Parker, neither one has been lifted yet.
This is, talk about speed for some speed. It's not like Tiare Jennings is a super slow runner.
And ironically, Parker is close to have, I think, well, she does have the most stolen bases on the team.
So Bland goes on for Jennings. Parker will stay over there at first. In softball, you can get lifted once and re-enter. So Jennings will be back. The 200-plus RBI for Kinsey, 6th most in OU history. Ball. Has now reached base in 29 straight games. Hansen waits on it and delivers. That's going to score a run. Here comes Bland. 7-1 Oklahoma. 3rd RBI for Hansen. And she's eating off-speed pitches for dinner.
And how about Hansen? She hits a 2-run shot to get on the board on a changeup. They come back to the changeup again, and now she singles off of it. This is a hitter that identifies it. You can see that she is on time. She's quiet. She is not out on her front side. She is back, seeing that pitch, driving it out onto the green, picking up another run. And obviously the alums are loving what Hansen and company are doing here this afternoon.
First and second with 1 out.
You know, that would be the first thing that you identify. Do not throw hands in a change.
Yeah.
Buzz the tower, throw a curveball.
The first pitch, you saw her jump. It was inside. It was a strike, and she jumped like it was going to hit her.
Yep.
I like how you softened your stance, Smitty. Usually buzz the tower is one, and then don't throw her a changeup would be two.
Kinsey's a little different, I guess. Everyone else, she's buzzing.
Yes. Beth Mullins, along with the Olympic gold medalist Michelle Smith, Jessica Mendoza, our Hall of Fame reporter, Holly Rowe. Brito pops it up.
I would clarify, I said buzz it, don't hit it.
Yeah. So with 2 outs, just a quick note that if Oklahoma can get a couple of these runners in, they would bring the run rule in effect. Try and buy themselves a little more rest. Even though you do have the day off tomorrow if you win this game. Here's Torres. 2-run home run last time she was up. Trying to extend their NCAA tournament win streak record to 19 in a row. And the side is retired. Run swing because Duke had a chance to get a bunch in, and then Oklahoma counters with a 3-run bottom of the 4th and the 7-1 lead. Deanna Jennings and the top of the order here in the 5th for Duke. Jennings snags over to first in time. 1 down. Does Duke want a challenge?
The call on the field is out. Duke is challenging the call. The play is under review.
Their first challenge. So they will need video evidence of an out at first.
Jennings to Jennings. Tiare has the advantage, the spin move. Beautiful play by Tiare, close at first.
Great stretch.
She got her.
She's out.
Yep. Let's hear from our rules analyst, Christy Cornwell. What do you see, Christy?
This is a good call, ruling on the field. What the umpires are looking for is when the glove begins to close around the ball. We can see that happens before the foot compresses the base.
Thank you, Christy. Once the glove starts to grab the ball.
After review, the call on the field is upheld as an out. That is Duke's first challenge.
Duke will have one more challenge. 1 down. Not a nice play by Jennings.
Great play. That was so impressive.
To be able to spin, keep your eyes set, and accurately throw.
Here's Claire Davidson.
You know, a lot of times we talk about Oklahoma's offense. You know, they've had ace pitchers, but it's really been their defense that's been so strong as well behind all those pitchers. Patty Gasso says that she's like, hey, defense was my favorite part of the game. And then she would chuckle and say, well, because I wasn't as good at
I was going to say, number 2 fielding percentage in the country. Davidson, a flare out to left. And Claire's first hit of the day. So we got the Stanford Cardinal back here for the 2nd year in a row. Getting ready to go against the top seed Texas Longhorns. Texas may be scratching their head a little bit, looking at the bracket, thinking, wait a second, we got to face Nigeri Kennedy and then possibly Lexi Kilfoyle. They were like the two of the 3 finalists for Pitcher of the Year, Player of the Year.
Well, the 3rd is their catcher, so I'm batting it with what we've got Reese Atwood.
The other option is Keegan Rothrock at Florida, and all she's done is taken charge of that young pitching staff and was a finalist for Freshman of the Year that went to Jason E. Beecham at Florida State. Good grab by Sanders. As Howie Rowe reported earlier, that's why she's out there. The home run is extra. 2 down. Davidson over to second.
Now batting for the Duke Blue Devils, number 13, Francesca.
Being able to play a good first base, big part of keeping that ball from getting down the line, getting into that corner. Great positioning.
There's Freeland, the home run hitter. And this one out to Coleman. Quick work for Kirsten Deal in the circle. Or go home. Cassidy Pickering, 7, 8, and 9 in the lineup for Oklahoma. If they score twice, they walk it off with a run rule. Cassidy singled in the second, grounded out to short in the third inning. Powered today by 3 2-run home runs. Kinsey Hansen, Alina Torres, Sid Sanders. Kinsey also with an RBI single. Ball. Facing Lily Walker, the third pitcher of the ball game for Duke. Strike, 2-2. Over 12,000 on hand, a new Session 1 attendance record today.
No, Cole. It's always so great to see all the softball fans rolling in here to Oklahoma City. In Devon Park.
For 2 weeks in June, everybody's a softball fan, even if you have a softball for a head. I would imagine that would be year-round, 365 days. Holly Rowe?
Everyone is a softball fan. Our Session 1 attendance number, 12,445 people here in this stadium. It's a sellout, and it is a new Session 1 attendance record. So you're right. Everybody is a softball fan.
It does help if you've got Oklahoma and Oklahoma State both here. The Pokes are playing tonight. Texas as well, and a strikeout for Walker, 1 down.
Walker using that curveball on the outer half. Nice pitch. She's painting the corner. Torres did a good job of really selling that pitch. I think Pickering thought maybe it was on the outer half, but that's some good movement coming from that left side.
Infield pop up, 2 down. That'll bring up Sanders in the 9 spot in the order.
At the plate, first baseman number 1, Sydney Sanders.
Duke gets the out. They've got at least one more at-bat to work with. Ball. 50% now over hits. Home run.
That's insane.
It is insane. She connects. It's
Not for a little dribbler. For the offense, the numbers are gaudy. First in batting average, first in on-base percentage, second in slug, third in runs, third in home runs over the course of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you look at their power numbers, just 40% of those hits in that range are for extra base hits. So it's doubles, triples, home runs for average.
take their walks.
Sanders out in front. A souvenir for one of the 12,448. Oh, the Horns are in the house. 7th trip to the Women's College World Series, looking for their first national championship. They've been oh so close before. High fly ball. And over to make the catch is Amaya Burgess. Throw Alyssa Lang with you. Opening day of the Women's College World Series. It is double elimination till we get down to the final 2 teams. And then next Wednesday starts the best 2 out of 3 championship series. Mark your calendars. Wednesday, Thursday. If we're lucky, a game 3 on Friday.
We're feeling game 3 this year.
Feeling the game 3 with the parity?
Yeah. Yeah. Does it feel like a dominant team that'll just come in?
Amaya Burgess will come up. Ball in. I know you're curious, so I'll go ahead and answer it for you. 5 times we've had a game 3 in the championship series.
When's the last time?
Oklahoma, Florida State. Not in time. Burgess is safe. And I think Holly Rowe has an update for us on the mindset of the Sooners, Holly.
Well, you know, as the Oklahoma Sooners have gotten more and more successful going for their four-peat, the eyes, the fame, the attention and celebrity has increased as well, but with that has come pressure and opinion. Social media has been really hard for these kids, so Patty Gasso has them turn in their phones before games, so it has good advantages. Nobody's checking their phone at halftime or in between breaks or in rain delays, but then they also get stuck without their phone for long periods of time, so they can't see what people are saying. It's so good that they're trying to keep their mind free of the outside opinions, but some of the pitchers told us it's really hard when we're sitting there by ourselves sometimes. They've had to learn how to reconnect with their teammates. They're playing balloon volleyball and having a lot of fun. Just a very different vibe with no phones.
That is brilliant, Holly. Just because of the distractions, and especially with a team as many eyeballs as the Oklahoma Sooners have had, but for any team, I mean, shoot, I do that with my own kids. Like, you just don't want them on their phones because that's what everyone is now, and so you got to look at each other, communicate. It's crazy, I know.
Well, and be present. Remember this moment. Well, you know, I think a lot of times people are somewhere else or not where their feet are, and then you look back and you're like, I missed that. I don't remember that, you know, because you're somewhere else. Your phone is transporting you somewhere else.
Yeah, there are some of the most familiar faces in town. Success brings noise is something that Patty Gasso talks about. Some of that noise is awesome. It's 4,000 people in a brand new stadium. It's, you know, NIL opportunities. It's a chance to grow the sport, but sometimes that noise is not the good kind with all the negativity and the pressures. In foul territory, it's Brito. But if you want to see where the game is headed, well, it's where Oklahoma is taking it right now. There is more attention. Sometimes that's really good. Sometimes that's not so good. There's more money in the sport for coaches and players. You got to build new stadiums and new practice facilities to keep up on the recruiting trail.
100%. Well, Kenny Gajewski has said it, being just up the road in Stillwater at Oklahoma State. He said Patty Gasso in Oklahoma, they're the gold standard.
Improvements coming there, improvements at Texas, improvements around the SEC.
Yeah. It's great. It's great to see that investment in the sport.
And now at a place like Duke, where 8 years ago there was no softball. And here they are at the World Series, hoping that, you know, the growth of the game will spread around the rest of the ACC. You got new coaches at North Carolina State. We're going to have new coaches at Ohio State and Notre Dame and Auburn next year. Oh, tough pop. Nice play. Double play. Jennings turns it from Avery Hodge, the defensive replacement. Winner plays UCLA on ABC. Bruins are the last team to beat Oklahoma in the NCAA tournament 19 games ago in the 2022 World Series. So Jada Coleman in this senior class, they have the longest streak in the regular season, the longest streak in the postseason. They have the best record ever. Last year, 61-1. They have 3 natties. They have 4 Big 12 championships.
71 consecutive games.
Yes, that's correct. Ended by
Baylor. No. Louisiana. That's right. Baylor was the other one.
They've only lost 3 times in the NCAA tournament in their careers. That's it. That's crazy. To Coleman.
Well, it brings up interesting conversations too, because you think of Kehlani Ricketts. I mean, you could go back right over the last 20 years and you think of those classes, Shea Knight and Romero. And then there's this group of seniors. You know, it's every year they just, you know, the classes that come in bigger and better, reloading.
And just the experience. There's Shea. There's Allo.
Nice. Two of the greatest. Especially here, Shea Knighton's home run. I mean, that's got to be on their reel permanently. And then Allo's probably got the other 80%.
She's already got her Beat Texas pin on. She is the all-time home run leader, 122. Tiare Jennings in the on-deck circle is tied for second at Oklahoma with Lauren Chamberlain. She's 1 away from passing LC 44. Coleman reaches for it and still pulls it. And she'll try for 2 and she'll get there.
This Oklahoma team so good at hitting the changeup. Another pitch thrown low in the zone, off speed, but they're still able to barrel it up, Jess.
Yeah, watch her lower half compared to her upper half. She's going to already sell out. Look, lower half goes, but her upper half just stays with the flexibility that Coleman has to reach that with power for a double. It's not like she just made contact.
6 of her World Series career, that ties a record, and now Jennings could walk it off with a home run. Ball. 4th all-time in homers, 5th all-time in RBIs. Swing and a miss on the Walker delivery. 0 for 2, got hit by a pitch, and her pinch runner scored in the 4th. Ball. Trying to dive down and in. 2-1.
The reason why Oklahoma, all their hitters are so good at hitting the off speed is JT Gasso. Patty told Holly Rowe about this, how hard they work on hitting that pitch.
Jennings sends it the opposite way. Coleman had to hesitate. She'll hold at 3rd. And on the throw that gets through the cutoff, Jennings to 2nd. And now the game winner's in scoring position.
Watch the swing on this, going opposite field for Tiare Jennings. This pitch is middle away. She hits it where it's pitched. We say that, but she drives it opposite field. And then the throw missing the cutoff, being actually let go through even though there was no play at all at home. Jada was held up all the way, allows 2 runners now in scoring position.
On another changeup that gets hit hard.
Traditional quadruple header. And Ella Parker steps up to the plate to face Drug-Mueller. If they get both these runners home, they walk it off, and a run rule win. Ella, a strikeout and a couple of walks today. after Coleman doubled and Jennings singled. Ball. For the Duke Blue Devils, their very first World Series game today in their short history, just their 7th season together. Parker pipes it up. Back on the grass goes Vega, the ACC's Defensive Player of the Year.
That's a good play. She had a long way to go being pulled up. Shooting behind second base.
Now batting for Oklahoma, number 30, Riley Ludlow.
Riley Ludlam, who was the replacement at catcher. The game down. Ludlam coming back at us, just short of the press box. Ludlam pops it up. Baker on the dirt, 2 down. And it's Alyssa Brito's turn. Single, a walk, and a pop-up today.
Now batting third base for number 33, Alyssa Brito.
Lays off the rise.
Illinois got that sneaky rise at the top of the zone and just has a lot of pop-ups, but does keep the ball in the yard.
Brito drives one out to left. We're going to send in Jennings with the game winner, and she slides in safely. Walk-off win for Oklahoma. In their World Series opener, they take down Duke 9-1.
And of course, it's Alyssa Brito with the big hit. Her second of the game. She